Top five, top five, top five.
Yeah, girl, you ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, heard? Yeah, let's set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ranked Top 5 Lists of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your host, Tuong La, and we have the crew of a lifetime here today to talk about a very important topic. I mean, all of our topics in Ranked are important. They have never been not important. But especially today, we have something that is just going to blow your mind holes. But before we talk about it, of course, I got to introduce my first guest who, oh my God, this person is just a big troublemaker, but is, you know, also the light of my life. So I have to say that. But also, you know, I wouldn't trust him entirely to, you know, bring the ring to Mordor with me. Let's just say I feel like I would be betrayed pretty quickly. And we're talking about Angus MacDonald. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Tuong. Wow, there's a lot to dig into that opening. The blowing of mind holes, stuff not mattering, and then immediately mattering right afterwards. But I got to say, you're spot on. I'm definitely more of a Merry or a Pippin than a Samwise or a Frodo, and I think I've come to terms with that. I'm not that. But you know, I'll go to Isengard and do the
Angus,
things.
you know,
that they
I was
did.
actually picturing you as a Boromir type. You know,
Really?
the guy who
Famously
betrays everyone.
the one asshole in the fellowship of like 9 best friends. Okay, well,
you take a bunch of arrows for the team. I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, oh man. All right, well, this hurts, but I will.
Maybe I should start on a positive note. I'm happy you're here, Angus.
I'm happy to be here, Tuong. Thank you.
Can you introduce the next guest for me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who he would be in the Fellowship. I'm gonna go ahead and say Legolas.
Wow.
He's the nicest man in comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nathan Hartswick.
Hi, everybody.
Hello,
wow.
Nathan.
That is.
Is it true?
That is what you say when you
nice...
don't know what to say, I think.
No, I've met you. You do comedy, and I think truly.
No one has ever called me a gorgeous blonde elf before.
Until now. I've looked into your eyes.
I had a question. Is the mind hole where Frodo has to throw the ring? Is that... I don't know much about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, no, you got it. I feel like
it's that big
that's the R-rated version of Lord of the Rings.
It's great to be
Nathan,
here.
Thank you so much for being here. The nicest man in comedy. I can't wait to hear all the nice comedy you're going to be throwing our way today.
I'm an utter asshole on this podcast.
Just to prove me wrong?
Yeah.
Classic Boromir.
Yeah.
Nathan, can you introduce the very final guest for us?
Of course. Well, I hope it's not the very final guest.
Yeah, I know.
Final guest ever.
This is the last episode.
On her final appearance ever, this is a buddy of mine, a very funny comedian, my co-podcast host, and she's great, Annie Russel.
Hello.
Annie Russel.
I broke the pattern. What would you
okay.
guys say she is in the land? I don't know. You just met her, but what's she in the land of Lord of the Rings?
Gandalf.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Totally. Yeah. Annie, do you like Lord of the Rings?
I have never seen it in my life. I have no
perfect.
idea
Oh,
what
dear God.
you're talking about.
You can tell
This is
she's not a
great.
fan because she didn't say read it. She said seen it. Wait, there are books? Wait, what?
No, I know all about it. I've actually read The Hobbit. I've never read Lord of the Rings, and I've never seen any of the films.
Wow.
So, no,
Ooh,
not
this is
for me.
awkward. Okay. No, man.
So
no
am I
Lord of the
kicked
Rings.
off the podcast?
Yeah.
No.
She's trying to alienate people right away.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but we are part Lord of the Rings fandom over here for our podcast. We talk about Lord of the Rings for at least half of the podcast.
That's okay.
No, this...
I'll make sure that I talk about something that you guys are not interested in. So
Perfect.
Is there any chance that anyone has a Lord of the Rings? Are we going to hear Lord of the Rings dialogue?
You might.
Maybe.
You might hear one. Maybe.
I might cross it off my list right now.
Well, yeah. I might save mine for honorable mentions at the end.
Yeah. But hey, we're here to talk about, again, I was alluding to this earlier, something to blow everyone's mind holes. We are not talking about Lord of the Rings or any of that stuff today. Oh, maybe we will touch on it. We'll see. But we're talking about iconic movie lines. Wow. crazy. Yeah, I think at its best, movies are very quotable. I think some of the most interesting things, or maybe not interesting is the word, but, you have all those friends, all they do is quote movie lines to each other. And I think Angus and I are one of those two people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a fun time. And it's one of those things that it's just when a movie line works and in the right moment, it just sticks with you forever. And that's what makes you kind of want to go back to it. So I think there's a big power in a nice movie line. But for ground rules here, what do you guys think we have to make for ground rules for iconic movie lines? I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. So here's so if you're nominating a movie line, you only get to say the dialogue of one character, right? You don't get to do like an exchange, right?
Okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one, yeah.
Is that
I like
fair?
that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's fair.
I think so, yeah.
So, for example, because this would, fall under that, Angus, if I say, I love you, and you say, I
love
know.
you too, Tom.
Totally.
Oh, right. Yep.
No,
of course.
Nope. And it's,
Yep, I know. Yep.
yeah, that's the one. That wouldn't count, correct?
No, I would say you could certainly go with I know, because God, I don't know.
Right.
I'm flip-flopping.
Everybody knows, when you pull that out of context, everybody knows that line.
So I actually knew a guy who said that was the most iconic quote from Star Wars, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What?
I was like, he was an idiot. I was like, even just an isolated Chewbacca noise is more of an iconic quote than just someone saying "I know." I'm sure Harrison Ford has said "I know" in other movies. It's just like,
sure.
I don't know, clear and present danger. I know. Wait, he wasn't in that, was he?
What do you guys think? Is there any other ground rules we want to make for the show today?
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to get out in front of here. So I don't think that we are necessarily saying that these are the best films of all time. I think that we want to have the understanding, like, these are iconic quotes, these are quotable lines, but we're not necessarily saying these are the definitive, like, best films.
Yeah, so I agree.
In fact, I think like I had a couple movies ruined for me in my younger days because people quoted them too much, and I'm like, I can't watch that movie anymore because of that. So I agree. I also it'll be more clear whenever in my honorable mentions, but I definitely picked a lot of movies that are very iconic, and then I picked a much less famous line from the movie than people would expect. So we'll see how that works out for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What a strategy, Angus.
I had a couple where I felt like I had to choose one from the movie, and two were equally iconic, I thought. So I had to sort of choose one or the other.
I picked ones that meant more to me. Is that weird?
Okay.
Yeah, mine are more my favorite. And I feel like a big pet peeve for me is when I think that my friends are really funny and coming up with some great line, and then later I just realize they've been quoting something the whole time.
I hate that. That happens to me all the time.
I mean, so do you guys ever play like a Cards Against Humanity type game or something like that? I've been playing like Jackbox games with people, and they'll be just like, who can be funnier, basically, is like Quiplash, like who can make little quips, and just I will play with people who just exclusively use movie quotes. As someone who does like comedy, I'm like, oh, come on, we're better than this. And the movie quotes like always
I
win.
Agree.
It's such a
think
bummer.
that you should not be able to use other people's material for your own Jackbox games. I've played with people who use like meme lines, and I'm like, come on, get out of here. You're in your 30s.
You're better than
like,
this.
is not.
There's that Jackbox game that is like you're a stand-up comedian on a cruise ship or whatever.
Oh, God.
And it's like, I mean, the whole thing is so, it's meant to take an average dum-dum and make them feel like they're doing stand-up comedy, but everything is just multiple choice, grab this or that,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like playing those games. As someone also in the comedy scene, like I always feel like the unfunniest person.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's this expectation, too. Like, all right, Tung, go ahead, do something
Okay,
funny.
do something funny.
Do one of your
Give me an
little
improv.
skits. Can you do one of your little
Oh
skits?
my God. I had to explain to a family member. I'm like, please don't call them skits. They're sketches.
All right.
God.
Well,
All right.
obviously, we all
Woe
have our
is us.
demons.
We've got it so rough.
But we're going to leave that aside because today we're really just celebrating movies and their famous movie lines here. So just like every episode of Ranked, we're going to go around 3 times, nominating 3 nominations each, making a master list of 12 and whittling that down to a top 5 iconic movie lines list. All right, I'll go first. Angus, you brought up Star Wars earlier.
I did.
So my first nomination is I Know. And no, I'm just fucking with you. This is tough because I feel like I want to nominate a Star Wars thing, and that's what I'm going to do. But there is quite a lot in here. But I think if I'm going to go with the famous movie line in all of Star Wars and the Skywalker's trilogy saga, I guess it would be the 9 movies. I think the one that always comes back to me is the one that's entirely misquoted all the time, and it's not Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father.
Yes. Oh, can we throw that rule in that you have to do your best impression of the line?
Oh yes, no. Sorry.
Oh no.
No, I am your father. Maybe I dramatized it too much. Thank you. Yeah, what do you guys all think about that? Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, it is iconic, certainly.
I've heard of it. It is on my list too, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I think in terms of my quotable metric, I mean, yeah, I've been hearing that quoted what feels like daily for my entire life. So
daily.
But you hang out with a lot of nerds.
Star Wars is definitely something that I've been around for a long time. So I think it's a good one.
Would you say you're a fan of Star Wars, Annie, or you just been around Star Wars?
I am a fan of Star Wars. My birthday is actually on May 4th, and so I have been for the past many years doing a little Star Wars costume party on my birthday. So so I would say I'm a fan of it. I'm not thrilled with the attention that it takes away from my birthday specifically, but I'm willing to go there.
Yeah, don't blame Darth Vader for that. It's not his fault. You guys might all have different Star Wars quotes you might bring up. I'm not sure, but
I might have one on my honorable mentions.
You might? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm wondering on what level this quote falls under, compared to the rest of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, what happens if you walk up to the average person on the street and say, quote me a line from the Star Wars universe? This is probably going to be the top of the list, right?
Probably, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, this is one of the more recognizable quotes, for sure.
I mean, they'll misquote it, but they'll say this one.
Yes.
I'm realizing now I probably should have gone with some more iconic quotes. I was just going for the ones I thought were the best. This is going to be a fun list.
No one is going to have heard of anything I'm saying, so don't worry about that.
We're not here to give the basic ass top 5 list. We do what we want on this show.
Annie's pulling from Il Postino or something.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. I have to scratch that one off my list now. Okay.
Angus, give me your iconic movie line, or I guess your just favorite movie line.
All right. 1 second. All right. Gotta get in
character. Yeah, you're going to see those
yes.
voice. Okay.
I'm going to try. I watched a couple of these last night to really feel them and feel why I like them so much. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. And then he laughs and breaks down.
Does he laugh halfway through?
Cliff Robertson's a fucking hack. No, best Uncle Ben there ever was. So yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. From Spider-Man, I think it's a quote so iconic that they haven't been able to do a Spider-Man movie since without trying to tiptoe around it. To varying success. I don't know if you guys remember that Andrew Garfield was in 2 terrible Spider-Man movies a couple years ago.
Oh, we sure do.
Yeah, right?
I do remember it.
So I don't remember what the thing was in there, but it was basically just it was just moved around. Oh, fuck, I should have looked it up for worst quotes. And then even in Civil War with the new Spider-Man, it's when you can do the things that I can do, it becomes your responsibility to do things when people get hurt, and it's just they have not been able to do it as eloquently as the first Spider-Man movie. So, yeah.
Angus, as a giant Spider-Man fan,
I am
you
giant,
are,
yes. Yeah.
would you? You're huge. Does this quote, do you know, originate from this Spider-Man
That was
movie,
gonna be
or
my
has
question,
it been
yeah.
around?
Oh my God, I have no
Has
idea.
it been around like in like animated TV shows and stuff like that?
Or like the comics
beforehand?
themselves.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have no clue. I have no clue. So I haven't
if
read
so,
a ton
would
of
that
Spider-Man.
remove it from contention as a line that existed
Ooh,
before a
interesting.
movie, right?
I don't know. I think it was. I think it was expertly delivered in one of the most well-cast movies I've ever seen.
Right. Okay.
No,
Okay.
that's a really good question. I could do some Googling. Do we do that in this show?
We can Google. We have the internet. That's what all remote podcasting's about, baby.
You're telling. I thought we were in the same room.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm breaking the fourth wall here.
Oh God.
Yeah, let's just Angus, while you're looking that up, Annie, Nathan, what do you think? If it comes from like comics first kind of thing, would you still count it? Or
It would move down my list, I think, if that were the case, because we're going with iconic movie lines,
Right.
And if it's
Okay,
something that they
well-
pulled from a comics, I guess you could make the case that much of cinema pulls from some source material, right?
right, like a book or something?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to push back on that idea a little bit because I think that the reality is that more people, and in fact, most people will have heard it from the movie. So I think that more people will consider it a quote from that film than from the comic. Not that I don't believe in the integrity of all comics material, which of course I do, but yeah, no one cares about the stupid shit we say generally.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. The thematic and often quoted, including by the Supreme Court of the United States, Spider-Man phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, which is widely attributed to Uncle Ben. Oh, dear God. So it first appeared in some other comic. It did pop up in a Spider-Man comic, but it was part of a narrative caption and not a quote.
Oh.
So it was a narrative caption kind of like teeing up the next issue, I believe. So
I would take
I
that.
think it shows up in the movie as a spoken line of dialogue. I believe it shows up in the movie first.
Cool. I would take that, and I would have taken it even if it was in the comics first as like a dialogue bubble too. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
you're
like,
also a fairly gigantic Spider-Man
yeah,
fan.
I'm freaking massive,
Pretty swole,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the delivery of the line is probably like the most powerful thing about giving an iconic movie line. Like if they flub that up, then
Oh, yeah.
it would have given a different impact. Like if Uncle Ben actually laughed halfway through giving that line, probably wouldn't be that good.
No, it wouldn't. But yeah, it means a lot. It's one of those things that's stuck into my head. It actually seems like a fair like motto to live by as well. It's something you can take on from the movie into your life, I think.
Right.
Not to
right.
get all sappy.
Oh, I like it when we get sappy on the
Aw,
show.
buddy, I
We
like
never
it
get
too.
to do
I
that.
know, right?
Speaking of massive Spider-Man fan, Nathan,
How do you know that about me?
I spy on you.
Is it my turn?
It is
Yes.
your
Okay.
turn. Yeah.
Well, I chose a line that is just one word, and it is sort of like the only word that anyone remembers from this very, very classic film. And the word is rosebud.
That was good. That was
okay.
good.
Wow.
What's his name?
Yeah, what's his name?
I,
Welles.
Orson Welles.
I just quoted that the other day. So this is very top of mind to me. So I think this is a good one.
So
Nathan, for the people who don't know the quote Rosebud, can you say what movie it's from?
yes, it is from Citizen Kane, the, I guess, #1 highest ranked film of all time in all cinema. And it is, I'm not going to give you any
Still?
spoilers. It's like, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like,
Oh my God.
it's crazy.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it.
And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but Rosebud, the word, features fairly prominently in the plot.
Yes. Well, tongue. Now I know how it ends, even though I've never seen it, because this line of dialogue is so iconic.
Right.
Do you know how?
The Simpsons probably spoiled it at some point,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I
100%.
watched the Simpsons version of it. So, yes, I would say on that context, yes, I think. But Annie, have you seen Citizen Kane? And what are your thoughts on Citizen Kane?
I have seen it. I think it's great. I just quoted this line the other day because I was in a rose garden and I was being obnoxious.
Wait, was
to
it
the
Melania
person
Trump's new rose
that-
garden?
It was not. No, it was a rose garden in Portland, and I was being very obnoxious to the person I was with, who was being very patient with me. So yeah, I think this is up there. Iconic, movie, one of the more famous films for a reason. And this is the line from that movie that people remember.
So in 2020, Citizen Kane, for someone who's never seen it but has heard everything about it, I should still watch this movie, is what you're saying.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, it still holds up remarkably well.
Okay.
All right, guys,
right.
Sorry, give me a second. They're going to bark all over this track. Hey!
The
we'll just
nicest
wait.
man in comedy.
Yeah, exactly. As he abuses his dog in the background.
I couldn't. His heart wasn't in it. I think he was calling to his dogs, but didn't want to seem too mean.
Yeah, just like, hey guys,
Hey, come on, please
knock it off.
He's trying to be professional
cut it
to
out,
his
you
dog. But
goofballs.
I apologize.
no worries. Annie, what do you have?
Okay, from Il Postino, poetry doesn't belong to those who write it. It belongs to those
You
who
just
need
Googled
it.
that
no,
line.
I'm not. No, that is not what I'm doing for real. So the one that I am going to say is something that in my childhood was quoted on a daily basis between my brothers and I, and that is, so I got that going for me, which is nice, from Caddyshack.
Yes.
So this is my pick.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Is that how it's delivered in the movie? I thought we were trying to replicate.
I said no to that. I don't know if you guys heard that.
You don't do impressions, huh?
Yeah, I don't do voices. But yeah, it's a hilarious movie. It was definitely too mature for me to have seen it at the age when I saw it with my entire family. But yeah, it's just one of those very quotable movies that I grew up with, and this is a line that fits into most situations in my experience.
Because I've seen it used a lot online of people like kind of using it to complete like what's going on with them. So I've got that going. So I've got that going for me, which is nice.
Yeah, it's sort of a punctuation on the end of any story or any you can use it to kind of downplay something. You can also use it to sort of in a self-deprecating way, right? Like you can say
your joke bombs or whatever.
Exactly, your joke bombs, or you're talking about how you just got fired, or something disappointing happens.
What is it in the movie that he's describing as? Because I haven't seen Caddyshack in a long time. I do remember
God.
the line.
I've never seen it.
It's like a bunch of stuff, right?
I think in the movie it's actually just him. It's like they're goofing around on the golf course, and that's literally all I remember about it.
And is it Bill Murray?
Right.
I hear it in his.
It is Bill Murray.
It is Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Pretty good.
Nathan, what's your Bill Murray impression? Just real.
I don't know that
just
I know
real
one.
quick.
He has such a wry delivery,
Also, like which Bill Murray? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I would assume in this context the
Caddyshack
Caddyshack Bill Murray.
So you'd be assuming wrong. I always do Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I would go Space Jam.
Space Jam.
He was in Space Jam.
Always, Lost in Translation, Bill Murray.
You just whisper quotes in everyone's ear.
Yeah.
Well, incredible round one, everyone. Let's go to round two here. Round two. Okay, so I'm going to just go with one that I also have a huge attachment to. It brings back that childhood wonder that I like about movies. And it was one of the first times that I'm just like, oh my God, movies are just incredible because you get to see this cowboy and this spaceman fly into the air, and they're just toys. I'm talking about To Infinity and Beyond. That's my quote.
Good one.
Thank you. An incredible moment when, you don't think... I mean, they're toys. How are they supposed to fly? How is Buzz supposed to fly? But the power of animation and just fictional stories, they, of course, fly.
Well, I mean, in the movie, they use a rocket. They don't use the power of animation in the movie to fly.
They fly. They use a rocket and then they fly.
I think you're missing the point. It's falling with style.
Oh, you're right.
No, To Infinity Beyond is a great quote.
It is, and I have it on mine as well. And the only reason it's not higher on my list, this is what we're doing, right? We're poking holes in each other's stuff.
Yep.
Is because I saw it as something that appeared in multiple movies over the course of the franchise, right? Like they really lean into that, and they beat that horse to death over the course of the movies. And so I think of like "I am your father" as a one-time delivery, as and an iconic line for that reason. I think of "Infinity and Beyond" becomes a bit of a catchphrase, right?
I see.
Yeah, I like
Interesting.
that. I like that.
Well, I don't love that you're poking holes at my Toy Story or my Buzz Lightyear,
Right, well,
but it's a fair argument.
So you're nominating it from the first movie, right? You're not like because it certainly gets cheapened in the later movies.
I guess so. I never really thought about
In
that.
the
That's
same
a really
way that
good
yours
point,
does,
Nathan.
Angus, right? The responsibility one.
Well, they don't say the exact same thing. Maybe it would have gotten cheapened if they just stole the line. But this remains a pinnacle. They keep trying to get to this one, but they can't get there.
Really,
As a kid, I always. As a kid, I'm just a dum-dum. I always thought it was two, like TWO Infinity and Beyond, which makes no sense.
That's not what it is.
That's double
it's-
infinity.
Oh no, sorry, two. Yeah, sorry, TO. So you're going
like,
two.
oh
Wait,
my
what
God.
did you think it meant? Too much
like the number
infinity?
two?
Oh, TW.
Like,
oh God.
yeah.
I mean,
Two
when you think
infinities.
about it, going to infinity and two infinities make about as much sense as each other.
Like, I thought it was like double speed kind of thing. Like, oh, he's getting to not just infinity speed, but
Okay.
two
Oh, I see.
infinity
That
speed
makes sense.
and beyond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's well.
Okay.
Thank God you're an
thanks
adult
for
now.
humoring me. I like my version better, to be honest. Angus, what do you have?
All right. I was super confident in this one, and now realizing it's very possible some of you have not seen this movie. My next line of dialogue, my next nomination for top 5 iconic movie quotes.
Lines.
Movie lines. Is from The Princess Bride. Have you guys seen Princess Bride?
Yes.
You're going to say my next one. God damn it.
Oh, am I really?
Probably.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
That was it.
Ooh,
That's the one.
great delivery.
Pretty good.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I watched that one a lot, and so I got a bit of a chill because you said you made a great point with To Infinity and Beyond and how they overuse it over multiple movies. Perhaps one could make the argument for that.
Right.
This line gets said a lot in Princess Bride, but because they say it a lot, that's. I don't know. Tuong, you've never seen this movie, have you?
I have seen this
you have?
movie
Annie,
for
have
the
you seen
first
this movie?
time last year.
So I actually have never seen it all the way through.
It's one of those movies that you can not see all the way through. It'll be on TV and you'll see little bits and pieces of it. But this is a motif, though, right, throughout the movie that he keeps saying this as like a mantra, right, as opposed to, within the same movie, right?
Yes, yeah, and then he finally meets the six-fingered man and
Right.
can say it to him, and it's probably my favorite moment of the whole movie, I think.
Right.
I don't know. It's because it's a sweet sword fight, and I liked that kind of stuff when I was a kid. I could probably make an argument for some of the more comedic stuff or even some of the more romantic stuff is winning me over more now as an adult, but I just thought this was, so cool.
Yeah, I think like if there was anything from that movie, wouldn't it be that
It would
line?
be that
Is
or
there any?
As You Wish. One or
As
the
You
other.
Wish.
Yeah.
As You Wish?
Inconceivable. I mean,
yeah.
we're burning through a lot of quotes here.
It's a quotable movie.
Anybody want a peanut? Rodents of unusual size, you know.
Yeah.
But those are like
my
good
God,
quotes,
I'm
but-
not left-handed either. I
Yeah.
really think that's a good line, but it's a bit buried there.
Yep.
Ugh, so good.
Yeah, but I think
Let's
that would
just
fall
watch
under
that
like
movie.
favorite
let's
movie
watch-
lines.
Guys, let's
Do you guys just want to watch Princess Bride?
Okay, I'm down. Nathan, what do you got?
Okay, so you guys have burned 2 of mine, but so I'm on to the
Ooh.
next one. But my next one is from the biggest movie of the summer of 1976. You're gonna need a bigger boat from Jaws.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
fair.
I feel like there's no mistaking what that line is from. It's probably the most iconic line from that very iconic movie, and
Also misquoted a lot. We're going to need a bigger
Right.
boat. I keep hearing, but yeah, no, it's you're going to
Oh,
need a
yeah.
bigger boat. So I have a Jaws quote in my honorable mentions, but it's not that one.
Oh, okay.
And I know, but I knew that was the
Whoa.
obvious one. I knew that was the obvious one.
is it "Smile, You Son of a Bitch"? Is that one?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
We'll get to it. I'm not going to officially nominate it. Probably.
gotcha.
It's going to have to wait. But I think it is a great line. I watched that recently. That movie holds up so incredibly well. And that line, I was waiting for it because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a phenomenal line.
Yeah, I like that line a lot. Is it true, Nathan, that your favorite Jaws is Jaws 3D?
What I've heard is Jaws 3D is nowhere near as bad as like Jaws 3.
Wait, I thought Jaws 3 was Jaws 3D.
Yeah, isn't I thought
isn't
so
there?
too.
Oh, I forget. There's 4 too. I don't know. There's
Jaws
a lot
the
of them.
Revenge I have listened to many people talk about on podcasts, and it sounds genuinely terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I've not seen any. I've only seen that one.
Great. Annie, do you like Jaws?
I do
like sharks?
Jaws. I love sharks. No, I don't love sharks. I do like Jaws. I would count that as another movie that we saw rented from the video store when I was too young to see that. And I was terrified.
Yeah, it's a scary one
Yeah.
for sure. Annie, your movie line. Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is another movie that I quote a lot. This is a little bit more obscure than some of the things that I probably should have chosen, but I am choosing "Meet Me in Montauk" from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That is on brand for you, Annie.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot tell a lie. Like, this is probably a movie that I quote more than any of the blockbuster movies that you could bring up. This is said by Kate Winslet's character during sort of this memory erasing process that's taking place. And they're trying to find a way to kind of stay together mentally, even though one of the characters is having their memory erased. And so it's very iconic to me. And I think that it has a lot of significance. So it's on my list.
I've never seen that movie, and I had no idea it had anything to do with memories being erased.
Oh my God.
That sounds amazing.
You have to see it. I mean,
I'll check it out. I like Jim Carrey. And Kate Winslet's in it?
Yeah, it's a little bit, manic pixie dream girl, cringy, looked through a lens of today, but actually it holds up better than all the other movies in that genre. So,
is it sad? Is it sad?
It is.
It looks
I
sad.
sat in a movie theater and watched that after a particularly bad breakup and cried.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah. But see, I just love that feeling. Like, I love getting, just losing myself in a really sad film. And this is a very haunting film about what it means to remember someone and what it means to lose a relationship and what it means to sort of hold on to a relationship that's not working. And so it's gonna hit all those sad points for you, no matter where you're at in your life.
Wow.
Man, I think I've seen this movie way back in the day, but I don't remember anything about it. I'm curious to go back to it. Nathan, I like the idea that after like a really bad breakup, you go see a sad movie.
That was not my intention. I was like, I love this filmmaker. I like Jim Carrey. I like Kate Winslet. I'm like,
surely this will cheer me
You're like,
up.
this will be fun.
Right. And then it's just brutal.
So
bigger cry.
I saw the movie Inside Out by myself for some reason when I was already not at my happiest, and that was a truly embarrassing experience because it led to one of my favorite interactions in a theater, which is overhearing a child ask her mother, "Why is that lady crying?"
Man.
Whew, yeah.
I mean, that probably happened to a lot of us. Like it was probably when Up came out, it was like 15 minutes in, a bunch of adults crying and kids being like, "Why are you crying?"
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 for me was the one I sat next to one of my best friends, and we were both about to go off to college, and we're just sitting there trying not to let the other one know we're tearing up.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry at Pixar films. That's all they're targeted to do these days.
You know, they have people on staff. I actually read this where it's like they hire people who are just really good at cutting to the quick that way and just finding the things that are just engineered to make you emote. That is they're in the business of making people cry.
On the other end of that like spectrum of like putting that much care into it, I saw I think it was the 7th Fast and Furious movie after Paul Walker had passed away. And I won't lie, I got choked up at the end, but there were two like really bro-y dudes behind me straight up both sniffling and crying.
I love
it was
that.
just like, it was a magical moment. We were all one for, an hour and 20 minutes, whatever it was.
It's a sad movie,
It's a very
Angus.
sad
It's okay
movie.
to cry. Yeah,
I
it's
loved it.
okay. Just sniff some nitrous afterwards. And it'll be okay.
I don't think you should do that, Tongue. That sounds
Don't do
dangerous.
that. Don't recommend. Let's go into round 3, everyone. Round 3. Oh
shit.
my
I
god.
have to pick one.
Oh man, last round. I don't even know. There's so many ways this can go. Ah, boy. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I'll go with this, and I might regret this later. But for now, I feel pretty good about this. So, this is a movie that got some big recognition throughout the years, which was still to this day known as one of the worst movies of all time. And I think when Disaster Artist came out, it gave it a huge bump, but also, all of the cult following of coming to this movie, throwing spoons, doing bits alongside of the characters of this movie really made this line just something bigger than I thought it would be. And that's, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa!"
That's pretty
And
good. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's from the
And,
room. Yeah.
Well done.
From The Room, yes, I should say. And it's like one of those movies that it's not a great movie, but it's also the best movie in a lot of ways too. What do you guys think about this?
Once I knew you were going down like the path towards The Room, I started like trying to go through my head of like, oh, what are all the good lines from that? And I honestly, my mind was just so clouded by "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." Like I couldn't
just
think
his
of another
face.
line. Yeah.
Right? It's such an iconic like look, his hands when he does it, and it's just like when that line comes up when everyone's watching it together, it's just amazing.
The only one that might be able to compete with it would be "Oh Hi Mark."
Oh, true.
Oh Hi Mark,
But-
it would be
but
good.
you're-
I would put Oh Hi Mark up there for sure. And I have actually, I'm looking at in my little studio here, I have a print of the line "Keep your stupid comments in your pocket," which is just also just the dumbest line from
so
that
good.
movie. And so I do have that framed on my wall.
Oh my god, I love that. That's
I
amazing.
need to watch it again. God, that's fun.
It's so bad, but it's so
I
good.
apparently need to watch both The Room and The Disaster Artist because I've not
Oh
seen
my
either.
God, you got to see The
Oh,
Room.
you have to
Yeah.
watch it.
But that's the thing. Would you, Annie, Angus, you both watched The Room. I've also watched it. I just don't know if I would say you should watch that alone, Isn't it like...
So I saw it alone. I saw it with friends in my living room and watched it, and then went and saw it in theaters in the Mayfair Theater in Ottawa, and did the whole spoons thing. And people got up, and there was like a new bit that was evolving while we were doing it. I don't think it's a huge loss if you go see it. I think you're going to be able to interpret more of the weirdness because you're actually able to hear the movie at
Is
the
this
theater.
like a
People are
Rocky
screaming.
Horror situation where
Yes.
everyone
It's
knows
exactly like a
100%.
Rocky Horror.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, in fact, like the theater I was in, a guy ran from his seat to the corner of the screen and waited where one of the characters awkwardly waves towards the corner of the screen, and he knew it was coming, and he went, and it was like funny, and we were all like, oh, that's pretty good. But like I enjoyed watching it with just some friends and a few beers, like at my
I
apartment.
would make the case that if you're going to see a cult movie like that where everyone knows every line and you've never seen it, then you feel like a goddamn idiot.
Yeah.
Watching
You should
everybody
see it alone
sing along or
first,
whatever.
yeah.
You're like, what? You just feel
Right.
like the least cool kid in school the whole time.
And I feel like
yeah.
that's been memorialized on film. I'm not remembering what movie it is, but like the idea of going to one of those midnight Rocky horror picture shows with not in costume and not, knowing what's going on. I would actually say though, this is something that maybe we should do with a group of people on like a Twitch viewing because it is
Yes.
really fun to watch this movie with
Yes.
other people, whether they've
Yes.
seen it or not. Because you just need someone to process how badly made this film is. Like you need to process that with other people because otherwise you might just turn it off. You
Yes.
might just not even
Exactly.
get through it.
The flower shop scene alone, like, legitimately melted my brain when I watched it the first time. I could not get over it. I made my friends rewind it. My friends had seen it already. So I was the new person watching it in like my old apartment, and I made them rewind it. I was like, that can't be a scene that was like in the final movie.
Yeah,
oh my God.
The whole story is so fascinating with this guy who made this movie, because he just poured all of this, mysterious money into this, made this movie, had zero training or talent, and it is just one of the worst films of all time.
I mean, there's two sex scenes in the first 8 minutes of this movie, and they're both way too long. It's amazing. Oh man!
All right, I'm in.
I would definitely say that we should all watch the room together.
I really want to.
I would love to do that together.
Is that like a Podcameron event? Can we do that?
We can do that. We can do that.
A sister program thing.
I'd be so down for that. Angus, what's your next line?
Oh shit. Okay, so I could not pick a third one. So I've just been looking through my honorable mentions, trying to bring one up, and I've got two in particular. One means more to me because I use it in my everyday life, and the other I think is just it is truly more iconic.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the iconic one. From the one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, Airplane. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I'm realizing now really requires the setup, but oh no, this backfired so badly.
Because we have the rule, you can only do one character.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I know. I mean, you don't get the full joke, but you do. That's iconic, and everybody knows it.
Well, yeah, and it's a weird one too, where it's like I can't think of that line of dialogue without also thinking of Leslie Nielsen. Like when I think of with great power comes great responsibility, I think of Uncle Ben, but I don't necessarily think of Cliff Robertson right away. I think of the character of Uncle Ben, but it's like I am serious and don't call me Shirley is like it's like a dad joke almost. It was like one of the jokes that like I watched Airplane when I was really really young. Like my dad had it on DVD, and I probably watched it when I was like 9 or 10, and I didn't get half the jokes. Like I got some of the visual gags. It's like, oh, they're lining up to slap this person, or there's like a nun doing a backflip. I can't remember. But I am serious, and don't call me Shirley is like one of the lines. It was like one of like the witty like verbal jokes that I remember immediately getting when I was a kid, and it like blew my mind. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Tuong, have you seen Airplane?
I have, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. But
I saw it in theaters. It's fun. It was fun to see with an audience. I saw it. They brought it to the Mayfair in Ottawa, and I actually friend of the show Leslie Cherapy was also there, but not with me, and I could hear his laugh in the crowd, and I was like, good. I know he's liking this movie.
Yeah. It's I remember really liking this. Did you all, the rest of you've all seen it too?
Yes.
Again, I think I've seen it in bits and pieces, the same way Annie's seen Princess Bride. Like it's on all the time, but I don't think I've ever sat down and digested the whole thing. I think it's on Netflix now.
It's got pretty insane like jokes per minute.
Yeah.
Of movie of like any movie I've seen. That alone, I think, makes it worth watching. It's pretty crazy.
And I really miss that style of movie too. That slapstick, They don't make silly stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen was definitely a big part of that, right? Like just Tommy gun of jokes.
Rapid fire absurdity, just like crazy situation after crazy situation, gags, physical comedy, costumes. I mean, just
the two things I watched recently that were in that genre that it made me like nostalgic for this stuff were Medical Police, which was really fun.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet. And, I loved Children's Hospital.
And the Angie Tribeca show, which was same thing, just very slapsticky, very fun.
Nice. Are those both on Netflix?
Angie Tribeca is Hulu, I think.
Oh, okay, sick.
Oh, we don't get that over here.
I haven't watched a Medical Police, but I'm taking your recommendation.
It gets better. It gets better as it goes on, but it's all that genre. It's all just like dumb bits the whole time.
Well, it's
and I love the premise of that. Yeah. Just that, like every procedural show is just this over the top, like we're the police, but we're doctors.
Serious all the time. Yeah. Nathan, what do you have?
Okay, I have this one. This is going to be a terrible impression. But this is the one I
Can't
have.
wait.
I tried to think of ones that if you say this line, people just immediately know exactly what it's from, and it's like in the zeitgeist. And this one is, I'll be back.
So here's another one that I have in my honorable mentions.
All right.
I picked a much less famous quote from
Did you
that movie.
did you pick Hasta la Vista, baby?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Okay.
and I'll do a sketchy Kyle Reese impression.
I mean, did you pick Get to the Chopper?
No, because that's from Predator, and you
You're
know
right.
that.
I do. It's not a tumor. We'll just do all of them.
Rubber baby
the entire
buggy
movie,
bumpers.
guys.
What if I thought one of the most iconic lines was from Kindergarten Cop? It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Nathan, can you set up I'll Be Back for the people at home who have never actually seen the movie before?
I don't remember what context
Oh,
it's in.
I know
I'm
exactly
sure
what
you do, but
context
it's the line from Terminator when he's traveling through time to kill, right? Is it John Connor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no. Oh God, no. He's trying to kill Sarah Connor
Sarah
before
Connor,
John
so
Connor.
she doesn't have John, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, no.
God,
Please,
come on.
Jesus.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Putting me on the spot here. Not all of us watched clips from all these movies last night, Angus.
Oh God, Terminator's burned into my brain.
So can you
Angus?
give
Yes.
further context?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese are in a police station, and they think they're safe, and everyone keeps telling them that they're safe. But in a brilliant case of sound design, the creepy music's still playing. So that's important. So Arnold walks in, like the Terminator walks into this police station and wants to see Sarah Connor, and they're like, no visitors. He looks around, he eyeballs the size of the like entryway of the police station, and then says, "I'll be back," and then leaves, and then drives a car through the building and kills all the cops. So it's like it's truly no one remembers that part of it, but everyone remembers the line. It comes up
it's
to
just
like
an
when
offhanded risk assessment, is what it is.
Exactly. Well, and also not to use your own your own argument against you. They made him say that in so many other movies.
Did they really?
It's true.
Yes. Oh,
like
my God.
Spin-off Terminator movies.
No,
Wow.
but even Arnold says it in non-Terminator movies. They make him say it in other movies.
Okay, counterpoint. That just means it's so iconic that if they have Arnold, they're going to make him say it. That's
It's true.
Yeah.
He definitely says it in Last Action Hero. He might say it in True Lies.
Wow.
He says it in other stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way as well.
But not
weird.
other Terminator movies, right?
No.
Like they picked this T2. They were like, let's give him another catchphrase, and so "Hasta la Vista, baby" was like,
Yeah.
the
well,
next
that's from
one.
the second one,
Right.
which is like one of the best movies ever, of course.
Right.
Wouldn't that suck, though, to have like such a big iconic movie line that's the only thing people want you to
Well, it's
say
like that
anytime
Simpson
you come
thing,
to an
right?
interview?
Where it's like, say the line, Bart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do it.
Yeah, and I think that was a thing in the 90s, especially like references within other films, to iconic
Right.
movies. I feel like you could make a list that was only that.
Well, also,
if you-
pre-internet or in the early days of the internet, that was the wink, that was the engine,
Yeah.
right? Because there weren't a million people online talking about and trading all this information. It was just, you went to the movies and you're like, oh, that's from that other movie I liked,
Right.
It's just an
Okay,
experience
so-
you have in the theater.
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for "I'll Be Back." And
There's a Wikipedia page for that?
Oh yeah,
my
and there's
God.
a section
there
called there's a section called Variations. It was used in Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator
God.
Salvation,
I stand
Terminator
corrected.
Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate. Slight variations. In one of them, they say "she'll be back" and "stay here, I'll be back." But yeah, no, they say it in every movie. Different characters say it, but it
At one
always
point, he
gets
just
said.
looks into the camera and says, "BRB."
Yeah, it's like, and then it's like Terminator will return.
Oh my God.
Still iconic.
That's
Okay,
great. That's
all right.
great.
Interesting.
Amazing line. Annie, final line here. What do you have? Is it an "I'll be back" line from a different Terminator
And
movie?
you know what? I had to cross that off my list. I'm going to have to go back to the board here. So what I have is something that I, of course, agonized over whether to put over because I don't know how many people can name the film that this is from, but I feel strongly about it. And the line is, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore,"
That's a good one.
from Network.
Network, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this is like, if you say this line, to me, this is iconic. Everyone knows that this is a quote, and this is considered one of the best screenplays of all time, and one of the best films.
You could also say it's become so iconic that it has transcended the movie that it is
100%.
in. And so people might not even know it's from a movie. They just know it's a thing that people say. Which is like,
that's
in some ways,
I didn't know this was from a movie.
That's like the highest compliment of one of these iconic lines, right? Is that it transcends the movie itself.
Yeah, this definitely transcends the movie itself. Like I definitely heard this quote before I saw this movie. That's 100%.
Yeah, you watch the movie and you're like, that's what that's from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tongue, you've definitely never seen The Network, right?
I've definitely never seen this, but I've definitely heard this quote before, and I thought it was just a thing people say.
I'm only slightly in a better position. I have not seen Network, but I did know that line was from it because I've seen that clip many times. I don't know why. But it is, and it's kind of like the exclamation point on like a very long monologue, isn't it? Or like a rant?
Yeah.
It's
Annie, you want to set that up?
Yeah, it's sort of the end of a rant. The line is delivered by the actor Peter Finch, and he actually died before receiving his Oscar for this performance. Wow. He received a posthumous Oscar for this. And this is sort of the culmination of his, I don't want to say breakdown, but you'll have to watch the movie.
I think of it like when Bill O'Reilly was like, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
Oh. This was TV quotes. That definitely would have been one of mine.
Yeah. So for anyone listening to this who hasn't seen this movie, please go watch it right now. It's one of my favorite movies, and you just have to see it. It's one of the best films of all time, in my opinion.
Whoa! Wow! High praise.
I did not say the same about the other movies I quoted. I just want to put that.
Don't feel the same about Eternal Sunshine?
I say watch Eternal Sunshine, if you want.
Yeah.
But
unless you don't want to cry. Because,
Yeah, unless you don't want to cry. And the other thing about Eternal Sunshine is, I don't know if you guys have seen the new Charlie Kaufman movie, but...
oh, right. What's it called?
Thinking of Ending Things? Is that what
I'm
it's called?
Thinking of Ending Things. And that is a movie that I have very mixed feelings about. So it's sort of like casting a little bit of a shadow in my Eternal Sunshine love as well.
That movie, not to get on a tangent, seemed very heady. And like cerebral, kind of like Anomalisa, like the same kind of dealy, where you're like, I as a movie person, I feel like I should like this, and I did like Anomalisa, but it's like it's a lot to take in. Is that what this new movie is all about?
Yeah, I think this new movie is something that like you probably are going to have to watch it more than once to fully understand what's going on, and there's a little bit of a twist that might blow you away in a good way and might make you really angry. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
You're not selling me on this.
Leave it there, and it's regardless, it's worth the watch. It's quite a long movie, but I would say
you're really selling us. You might hate the twist and it's super long, but
it could really piss you off and it's super long. But I definitely
it's super long, but you should watch it again.
That's the kind of movie you have to see,
honestly,
though, because it's so much in the culture, and like, what's more fun than getting mad at a movie? I mean, I don't know.
I've watched a lot of insultingly boring movies lately, and I want to watch a movie that'll make me feel something, even if it is frustration at that movie
or confused.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I mean, you want to feel something, and sometimes you need that movie to be the source of your frustration, or where you direct your frustration, I should say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have our list of 12 here of movie lines that make us feel things. So let's take a break. And when we're back, we are going to rank this into a top 5 iconic movie lines list. Angus, give me your best Arnold. Portal opens. Arnold Schwarzenegger walks through.
Sir, can I help you?
Hello. I'm looking for a way to support my favorite podcasting network. I've come from the future. Just one moment, I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, we're closed right now, but you can come back when we're open.
When should I come back then?
Oh, we open at 9:45 a.m.
Okay. Do you have clothes?
Clothes?
Clothes, yes. Terminators.
Oh, you're looking for clothes.
Organic matter over endoskeleton.
Yes, I can see your exoskeleton is starting to poke through your skin there, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, come back and we'll outfit you with some clothes, and we'll give you a way to support Pod Cavern.
All right, I will sit here on the curb waiting.
Wow, 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 wow.
Another portal opens?
Arnold, it is I, another Terminator, you from the future. Have you got the clothes yet?
Well, you are me from the future, so you should know if I have clothes or not, shouldn't you?
Shut up, Slap.
My face.
Stop it. It is up to you to decide, not me for you to... I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say that I can't tell you the future, otherwise it won't happen.
Of course. That doesn't make any sense. I am waiting here. My prime directive is to...
Another portal opens. Hey, guys. My name's Marty McFly, and I think I took a wrong turn.
Terminated.
He takes his red vest off and puts it on.
I now have clothes. I have sweet shoes that tie themselves now. It's awesome. I wish we had those in our time.
Oh my god. Are you seeing what I'm seeing on this corpse here? It's a phone. It's on the Pod Cavern website. The Pod Cavern Amazon affiliate link. That's what he must have used to get his clothes.
But wait, I thought this store was where I would find out. No, you're right.
No.
Marty McFly's phone has all the answers.
That's right.
Please.
At podcavern.com.
Future. Okay, so just so that I may understand this, I will now save a bookmark in my preferred internet browser so that whenever I go to Amazon, it will take me through the affiliate link. Correct?
Correct. You got it. You got it.
Will this cost me any more than it already does now?
No more money.
Thank you, future me. We have figured out Okay, bye. Rude. Wow. Okay. Well, now...
I'll be back.
Now I will just wait for this store to open, so I may thank the kind man who first interacted with me.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Oh, it looks like you got what you needed. Great.
Yes, I have this vest and these shoes and nothing else.
Great. Well, my only purpose here was to help you, so goodbye.
Well, I was wondering if you'd actually want to get a drink after
I'll
this.
I'll be back. Bye.
Oh, that's what that feels like.
Podcavern.com.
So stupid.
Top five.
Hey everyone, we are back. We are ready to go. We are ready to rank our iconic movie lines list. There's so much to choose from, but only 5 can remain. So here we go. I am not going to do an impression for every single one of these, so I won't. I'll just read them out. So here we go. No, I Am Your Father is from Star Wars, from Empire Strikes Back, actually. Okay. We have With Great Power Comes Great Responsibility from Spider-Man, Rosebud from Citizen Kane. So I got that going for me, which is nice, from Caddyshack, To Infinity and Beyond, Toy Story. My Name is Inigo Montoya. You've Killed My Father. Prepare to Die. Princess Bride. You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat. Jaws. Meet Me in Montauk. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Meet Me in Montauk, Eternal Sunshine, and The Spotless Mind. You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa, from, I wrote Johnny, but it's from The Room. I Am Serious, and Don't Call Me Shirley, from Airplane, I'll Be Back, Terminator, and I'm Mad as Hell, and I'm Not Going to Take This Anymore, from Network. Okay, we gotta make this into a list of 5. So what we usually do for every episode is we're gonna star a couple nominations just to get the brain juices flowing. And I'm going to have Angus star a nomination not from your own list.
Of course. Okay, I got to go with... I'm a big fan of You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat. I think it really is like a very iconic movie line. Nice. I don't know. It's just one of my favorites.
Yeah. You love boats.
I love boats. I love boats. I love
of...
sharks. I love things needing to be bigger.
Do you like street sharks?
Oh, man, I loved street sharks. They didn't need a boat, though, because they just...
No, they did not.
I love the sharks from the Sharks and the Jets from West Side Story.
Yep. My favorite hockey team is the San Jose Sharks.
Okay, what else?
Land Shark sketch from SNL.
Land Shark sketch, of course. Land Shark.
Wasn't Will Smith a shark in a movie once?
No, he was a fish in Shark Tale. Come on, keep up.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You're not going to get anything by me. I've seen every bad movie and some of the good ones.
Oh, I was going to say, you've seen all shark content, so you're set.
Shark Week, Deep Blue Sea,
Oh, this is still going.
Deep Pussy
Okay.
is pretty good, actually. It's a fun, campy one. All right, let's move on.
We believe you, Angus. Nathan, can you star a nomination not from your own list?
Yes, of course. I got real into I'm Mad as Hell and I'm not going to take this anymore because of the fact that it transcends the movie itself. So I'm going with that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I never seen the movie, but I think it speaks volumes if I've heard of the line before. Loses points because there's no sharks, but that's
Big
okay.
time. That was a hidden caveat.
Annie, you want to start a nomination here?
Yeah, I am going to go with To Infinity and Beyond because I think that also really transcends the movie and is one of the more recognizable ones on this entire list.
Great. Amazing. And I'm going to star I'll Be Back because I feel like, well, first of all, our whole Amazon commercial was kind of around the idea of it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to
Yeah, it'd
see
be
some
weird
play
if that
now, I
one
think.
didn't make it to the final.
And that's the only reason why it's... I've never seen Terminator, actually.
Oh, dude, it's so
No,
good.
no. I have seen Terminator. No, I think this line is, I don't know, just the biggest... Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the biggest action movie star of his era. And even to this day, it's such a recognizable, sound bite from
Who do
him.
we
So
have
I think
that's a
it needs to
bigger
be...
action star than him now. The Rock? That's it?
Yeah?
Jason Statham, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
I'd take
I would say
Arnold
The
any
Rock.
day.
Yeah. Like back then it was Sylvester Stallone and Arnold,
Have you guys
right?
been watching the Arnold Instagram content with him and his miniature pony in his house?
Better believe I have. He's got
Wait,
a tiny, he's got a donkey and a tiny horse.
I mean,
It's
just set
amazing.
aside his disastrous political career. It's adorable.
Yeah,
He's now elderly and he's got a tiny miniature horse in his own house.
He's just
And he's trying to advocate for people to be social distancing, but then you see what his social distancing looks like, and you're like, what is your life? Like, you're just with a pony?
Does he have multiple ponies or just one?
I feel like he has does he have something else too?
one is a donkey, I think.
Right.
It's
like a mini-
And I'm saying
there's
I think, but I actually know it's a donkey.
Yeah, I've only
wanna seem
seen
weird.
the videos as other people have shared them. I don't
Yeah.
follow whatever the source of them is, but it definitely seems like he probably has a ton of animals, but those are the most photogenic.
But I love it because other celebrities are out by their pool and this guy is just living in his house with livestock.
Yes.
That's freaking amazing, which is gives more power to this line somehow.
Yeah, another person who's hanging out with livestock and is worth a follow on Instagram is Isabella Rossellini. She is also like feeding her chickens on a daily basis on
Amazing.
Instagram,
Nice.
which I recommend.
Wow. I will have to follow both of these people now. So what we have is To Infinity and Beyond. That's starred. We have You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat from Jaws, I'll Be Back, Terminator, and I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore from Network.
I'm mad.
So we've started a couple nominations here, but now we'll just open it up to the floor, and you can start fighting for your own nominations now. What else do you guys think really belongs on this iconic movie lines list?
Oh man. To me, the I Am Your Father thing is real hard to ignore.
Yeah.
It would be hard to leave that off of a list of the most iconic movie lines of all time, I think.
Now, it would be hard to, but it would certainly be a unique list if we did.
Yes, you could. And if you have a list, and not to disparage Annie or anything, but if you have a list with that Montauk line on it and not Star Wars, then it feels
Then
like
you have good taste and you should be applauded for that. I think that's what you were going to say, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
I mean, that analogy from earlier, or that description of that movie from earlier, it definitely helps with the ranked, where it's like, yeah, it's kind of long, and you listen to it, and at the end, you might be pissed off, but it was a journey.
Yeah.
And also like all of the film people that I know, I mean, part of the fun is like arguing for your favorite thing and maybe not agreeing, because I think that like any list that just has like the most famous lines on it, in my opinion, like that's not going to be a great list. I think you need to have that tension and that diversity on there. So I don't know. But I do agree that I Am Your Father is a pretty big one and should probably be on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about I Am
Well
Your Father?
said, Annie.
It sounds like I Am Your Father is at the very least going to get starred for later discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Is there anything else that we want to star?
Not to, in poor taste, support my own nominations, but I'm pretty well prepared to die for With Great Power comes great responsibility.
Oh, you don't have to die, Angus. That's a prerequisite
I
for the
was
show.
shocked you didn't back me on that one. And that's a wound our friendship will never heal from.
Oh my god! Not talking for another week once again.
Yeah, well, I'll see you in a week. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll see you in a bit. No, I'm okay with starring that line. I really, really like this line. So let's start. I guess Spider-Man is starred.
Thank you.
Okay. So right now we have 6 starred. How about we kind of comb through this list and see if there's anything else that we can probably let go. How about we start with You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa? Is this an iconic enough line to be starred, or with the company that it's currently with, can we let it go?
Of your 3 nominations, Tung, that one's my favorite. I like all your nominations, but You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa, is like, I don't know. I love that one. It's tough.
I feel like I want a second list of like the cult and indie classic lines.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different, like it has to...
Top
in order
5
for
underrated movie quotes.
Yeah, in order for something to become like absolutely everyone knows it, it has to be a popular and seen enough blockbuster movie, right? For whether it's intended to be a blockbuster or not, it has to be a popular enough movie that everyone's seen it. And then there's this second list of all these movies that are like, beloved cult classics that have these lines everyone quotes. But like when I say everyone, I mean like kind of nerd culture, right? As opposed to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa. I think because of the big boost it got from Disaster Artist, and then, like it's just huge cult following it's had over the years that it's been out.
I mean, it's got to be
feel
the
like
biggest
it's no
cult
longer
movie ever, right?
Right? Like it's no longer a small movie. It's a movie that's been seen by at least most movie nerds, I guess.
What about Rocky Horror? Would you consider that?
I think it's I think it's small enough that we can lose it from this list. And I say that as a person who really likes this nomination.
Yeah,
you got to start making.
And you have a room quote on your wall. So.
Yeah, exactly. I say that as a person who has a room quote graphic on my wall. I think that if what we're doing is zeroing in on the fact that like we're going for the bigger movies and we're going for the lines that most people know, I think You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa, has got to go.
Okay, here's way out of left field. I think Rosebud's got to go for the exact opposite reason. I think it's so big that I think the majority of people I hear say it have not seen the movie.
That's interesting.
That's me taking a big swing. I don't know. How do you guys feel about Rosebud? Are you guys super attached to it?
I'm personally not, but I've never seen Citizen Kane.
Me neither.
Although I obviously respect it from a distance. It's just,
but not enough to watch it. I get it.
Not enough to watch it. No, I'm good enough with the Simpsons line of like, "There's no Kane in Citizen Kane." That's as much as. But I'll leave it to the rest of you too. Like, you think Rosebud is.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this list, and if we're truly just trying to pick the most famous quotes of all time, I think it comes down to "I Am Your Father" and "Rosebud," and I don't know if I need both of those on the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this list also has to be.
I was the one that railed against the Hangover Cure episode because the number one answer was water.
Right.
So
you bring this up on every episode,
and I will never stop bringing it up. It's a perfect example.
But the thing is, like,
BuzzFeed? Come on.
Yeah, and there's the point, right? Is like, Annie, I think you brought this up earlier, is that we don't always want to appease the masses and just make your basic list too. So I think there's a balance of like, yes, is this the most iconic movie line to everybody else? But it's also in part like, is this this group of four's favorite and what we think is the most iconic in this collective group's mind? Yeah, so
iconic,
there's
that's the part when I approached this whole like list. I didn't think iconic. I just thought, what do I think the best movie quotes are?
Yeah, I approached it the same way because I think you take any 4 people together and you're going to get a different list. And I think that it's a little bit tricky to find a list that's going to appeal to everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. everyone always disagrees with our list by the end of it, so it's okay.
And that means it's been well argued and edited down.
Sometimes none of us leave happy. It's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. With that being said, as someone who has seen Citizen Kane, I have to say I'm okay cutting Rosebud because it is a one-word quote, and if you don't exactly know what the reference is, you might not place it in the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Nathan, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's been interesting to listen to you guys because I don't. I could kind of go either way on it. I could certainly fight for it as like basically, the most famous quote from the most famous movie of all time in some ways. But I could also see that it's like it's just that like it's never anything more than that. It doesn't. I mean, with the exception of Annie, as you said, you were annoying the person you were with saying it, because you were in a rose garden. People don't quote this on a regular basis. They may say it if it comes up, but people say I'm mad as hell all the time.
Right.
So I feel like we could lose it. It's not. Yeah, like you said, I am your father should. Yeah, I see your point. It's like, I am your father and Rosebud. We probably can't have both. So I get it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Wait. Well, if I may, Rosebud is a rose dud.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Damn you.
I can't. I also can't argue because you guys have starred my other two. So.
Yeah.
Not to pat my own back or anything here.
Well, maybe you can pat my joke a little bit because I worked really hard.
Oh, Rose
on it.
Dud? I'm sorry, my mic went out. My ear.
Yeah, very clever. So clever, it was also the thing I thought of.
This is what I do at improv shows too. If people don't laugh the first time, I really need to hammer it home.
That's actually a great technique for comedy in general. Just keep saying it until someone gets it.
Force it until it's funny.
I guess it's not that rosy for our buddy. Okay.
That's wow, much better.
Also,
is this Annie? Is this where I say? So I got that going for me.
Exactly. So not starred, but you just friggin' quoted it. So
okay. So I got that going for me, which is nice. His I don't know how much time you guys spend on the internet, but it's like a very memed quote. Like it has become a fairly iconic meme, especially given the current state of the world, where it's trying to be optimistic about terrible shit,
the smallest things,
anything, You're searching for anything.
In fact, I would say I even have a stronger feeling for that one than some of our other ones. I think I could go for.
Let's star it because I also like that idea of this line gives us optimism, or it's like an easy joke and it's like, we like this, so I'm okay with starring it too.
Nathan, tough question here, man. You said you were also going to nominate this Princess Bride quote, but it hasn't come up much. What are we thinking here? Is this are we done with this one?
I don't know. You have two that are really good, and it's hard for me to see. I mean, the great power comes great responsibility one and the Inigo Montoya one. I'm not sure we can have both,
Okay.
Because they're both pop culture,
If I had to pick between the two, I would which one meant more to me, I would say just going by the line, I would go Spider-Man. But I'm the kind of guy, I've watched they did this anniversary special thing where they interviewed all the cast of Princess Bride, and Mandy Patinkin was like, oh yeah, well my dad had just died from cancer, so when I kept doing that line, I just told myself that if I said it enough times it would bring him back to life. And I was like, oh my god,
jeez,
it's so sad.
It's so dark. Oh my god.
But that's also that's maybe more than, for me, maybe that's more a sign that the performance spoke to me more than the line of dialogue. You know what I mean?
And in fact, I didn't know Mandy Patinkin was in that movie, and it makes me want to watch that movie. So.
It's an incredible movie. It's so good.
Right.
It's so good.
Angus, I like this line too, and I also agree that part of this list is how the line is delivered and its context that it's given to. But if we already have a father quote, do we need two dads on one list?
Okay, this is an interesting thing to set up because I mean, you know me. Always the counterculture one. No, I guess "No, I Am Your Father's" a better quote. It's so impactful, right? It blew so many people's minds.
It's
okay. I could see that trade-off happening.
I also like the Spider-Man quote
you.
better, I think. So
And Inigo Montoya is you could make the case that that's a line everyone makes because they say it so many goddamn times in the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
Whereas,
that's yeah.
Also, I wonder if that's just because, like, people my age really quote The Princess Bride and love The Princess Bride. I don't know for people of other generations if it's as quoted or beloved a movie. Like, I think maybe you had to be in a sweet spot there to really appreciate it.
I don't know, because I think Princess Bride has permeated like multiple generations of people. I mean, they even brought it back recently, right? Like on Quibi. I never actually watched it, but they did like a fan, not a fan. Bunch of celebrities did like a line of dialogue in the movie, and they recreated the entire movie. Like that's how big of a thing it was.
They're keeping it alive the way they'd keep a Disney movie alive by keep re-releasing it and getting new kids hooked on it and stuff. But I see your point, Annie. It is like it's kind of a little slice of pop culture as opposed to an entire, like something that literally everybody quotes.
Yeah, like I wouldn't, like if you asked any of our parents,
right, exactly,
which movies on this list, they would say, I don't think they would reach for Princess Bride. Perhaps like our generation and younger would. But I think of something that transcends sort of like film in general and things that most people know. I just feel like it doesn't hit that for me.
Okay, well, Princess Bride, more like
Princess.
Wait. Princess died?
Okay, wait. My name is Inigo Montoya.
We're like Princess Divorce.
You killed my suggestion.
Let's take that one. Thank you.
More like Princess Divorced. Yep.
Are we going to have another 2-hour podcast where we try to come up with the top 5 puns
of the Rejected?
Oh, yes. We have to. This is it now. For every single nomination that doesn't make it.
No prep work. It's going to be mostly us just being like, okay, wait.
We got to show people at home why we're so good at comedy.
As if the Amazon commercial wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think it stands for itself. All right, well, what are we doing here? We got a couple that aren't starred. Airplane, Johnny. So we got Airplane, we got Tearing Me Apart, Lisa, and we got Me and Montauk. What are we doing with those?
I think all of those can go.
All those can go. I love Airplane, but I don't know that is the most
I think I flubbed
iconic from that movie, so I'm okay with all those leaving.
Angus, I love that line, but it's also like the company it's with. It's like it's not. I don't know if it's like can hold up to like I Am Your Father.
No, you're right. And I'm also realizing I was realizing as I read it that I'm like it really needs that setup. It really needs that first. It's like if I was like from Airplane. No, I've been nervous tons of times. It's like no, it's a really funny joke, but it needs the setup. So Airplane, more like Air Lame. Am I right?
Thank you.
Do call me Shirley, please.
Do you have one for Meet Me in Montauk? Anyone?
It's Long Island, so don't go there. I guess that's just what I would say.
Okay.
How about we Montauk this nomination into bed? Good night.
Angus has been doing this before. That's the only reason why we bring him back on the show.
So good, right? Thank you, Tuong.
You're welcome. So we have. I'm going to read out the list that we have starred so far. We have No, I Am Your Father, To Infinity and Beyond. With great power comes great responsibility. You're going to need a bigger boat. I'll be back. So I got that going for me, which is nice. And I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. From Network, that's 7. We need to bring this down to 5. So we need to cut 2 off our list. Where do we go from here?
I feel like my gut instinct is the so I got that going for me, but I don't know. Maybe that's like more well known than I realize it is. I understand that it's like memes and people say it a lot and stuff, but is it an iconic line?
For me, it's not even memes. It's more like just growing up. That was the line, that you said in my family and also just friend groups. So that could be a unique to me thing, but I suspect that it is not.
I really like that one. How about we go with locks then? So whenever we do locks, I just read the list again, and all of us have to unanimously decide if it's a lock for the top 5. This rule can be broken later if we need to take something off the lock list, but it's more like, it's not truly
what's
locked.
your gut instinct on each of these?
Yeah, but if you're like lock, then that's a good way for us to kind of gauge where the rest of the room's at. So here we go. No, I Am Your Father, lock or no lock?
I think that's a lock.
I would,
right?
yeah.
That's a lock
I
for
say
me.
lock,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. To Infinity and Beyond, lock or no lock? That's a lock for me.
I'm less certain about that one.
Okay. We'll just move on from that then. With great power comes great responsibility. Great responsibility.
Oh boy.
Lock or no lock?
You're really trying to sabotage me here.
So this is not a lock for me, because I'm not trying to represent all women on this podcast, but I don't know if this resonates with everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, that's fair. You're going to need a bigger boat. Lock or no lock? Hesitation.
I feel like I should lock it because it's mine, but I also understand that it is not... That when you say come up with your top 5 movie lines, it's not necessarily something that immediately springs to mind.
It's a lock. It's a lock for me, I think.
I think I can
say
lock this one.
Okay,
I'm
so let's
locking
call
it.
it that.
I'll be back. Lock or no lock? That's a lock for me.
How many locks do we have right now?
We have 2 locks.
Okay, I'm locking that then.
Really? Locking I'll be back?
Yeah. Because that's, I mean, how many times has that been referenced and everyone knows what that's from, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but only one of us
Even
knew the
referenced
exact
today.
context of it. And just no, I will say, okay, that's fine. That's a lock. That's a lock. We have 3 locks now.
We have 3 locks. So I got that going for me, which is nice. Caddyshack. What are you thinking, guys?
Okay, I think this is more of a lock for me than I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh, interesting. I
Wow.
lean the other way, I think. But
You're
That's fair.
wrong about
no,
that.
that's fair.
But,
What? Hey, you know, yeah, probably.
Angus, I'm with you there.
Really?
I'll go
Oh,
there.
we're
I'll
like
go there
50-50
with you.
split.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
generally some lines are drawn usually. This may be a generational.
Good thing this is a
I don't
remote
know.
podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, fists will be thrown at each other. Okay, well, it sounds like we don't have a consensus for the last 2 either. So what we have actually locked on the list is No, I'm Your Father. We have You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat, and I'll Be Back. So that truly we only need 2 more to make it on the list. So the rest is With Great Power Comes Great Responsibility. So I got that going for me, which is nice. And I'm As Mad as Hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. And To Infinity and Beyond.
Wow, that's a tough 4.
Yeah.
Oof.
For me, but it's my nomination. But to me, the one that's kind of brings me happiness anytime I hear it. I know it's been said across multiple movies, but maybe there's the opposite case where maybe that's why it's
I mean, that
so
didn't
well known
stop
too.
I'll be back from getting locked. So.
Okay, I argued against myself
To
there.
Infinity and Beyond.
Yeah, To Infinity and Beyond. I'm trying to think. We always like to get like a good sampling of things. Or that's something I look for in these lists. So it's like
You mean variation
I
on the
agree
list
with
and
that.
stuff?
something from
like,
an animated movie is nice. Something from a comedy is generally nice. That's why I went with an airplane quote. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that factors in at all.
I
Should
mean,
it? Shouldn't it?
just to speak about ones that are not mine, I would say if I were to lock one of them, it would be To Infinity and Beyond over With Great Power.
Right.
Those are the 2 that I keep coming back to as like one of these seems like it should be on.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I like that one too. The Spider-Man quote's like super, definitely iconic as well.
Does this happen every
Long
week? Just
silence.
dead air?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
That just means that we have a good list.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
It does.
It means we have something that's meaty and that we can really discuss it and like think about it. Because sometimes it's like a cakewalk. This is a little bit more hard, which I wasn't expecting.
Wow. So we got to pick 2. We've got 4 left. We got to pick 2 of them, or unlock something, which is not unprecedented, but it is rare.
It is rare, yeah. I agree with you, Nathan, that one of the 2 should be locked. To Infinity and Beyond, and with great power comes great responsibility. It feels like one of each should be locked from those like two groups that we have.
I lean toward Infinity rather than the Spider-Man quote, but I know it's a tough call.
I don't know. I definitely would lean towards Spider-Man more than Infinity, but if I'm outnumbered, that's whatever. That's the way it goes. In terms, let's talk about these two. I was going to start talking about the other two. What do you think?
Yeah,
Tom?
with the.
Because I think everyone's going towards Infinity. It seems like.
Yeah, part of my nerd culture would say I would. In my own personal list, I would take the To Infinity and With Great Power over the other two, but that's because I'm a geek, I guess, and I like that kind of stuff. But we already have Star Wars on this list too, so I don't need like this whole list to be just one giant, pop culture nerddom thing.
I mean, I'm proud you didn't have any Captain America quotes on there. Like I can do this all day. Or
I could have done. I could have done
save
that.
It for
I would have.
Sorry.
I would have done that.
That's America's ass. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I would take, if I had to take two right now, it'd be To Infinity and Beyond, and so I got that going for me, which is nice. Those are the two I would take.
See, I would argue for To Infinity, as I've said. As a person who chose the other two, I think I'm Mad as Hell is better and more iconic than So I Got That Going for me. Because I'm Mad as Hell. It's from a better movie, first of all. It's from a better movie than a lot of the things on this list. Not to be like a film snob about it.
But does that factor into our...
To me, it does. It does, because like we want to have a list that spans some genres and that is, that has varying, things for a film going audience, to get different things from the different films on this list. So I am going to fight for I'm Mad as Hell.
And I just want to I've just been like Googling. I'm
mad as hell, and
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it
anymore. Yeah.
Okay, I'm mad as hell because I've seen it quoted. I'm as mad as hell a few times when I typed it in. So it's a semantics thing. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, the whole
I guess
podcast
maybe it does matter. You're right. It seems like it sounds like it's I'm mad as hell. So I'm gonna take it as that. Okay. I'm fine with that reasoning. I think the thing that's swaying me the other way for I'm mad as hell is that it spans a different genre than just like comedy and stuff like that and lighthearted stuff.
Although it is a satire, and again, I'm going to say it's a different type of film than the other movies that we have represented.
Okay, here's a radical proposition for you all. So we lock in To Infinity and Beyond.
Okay.
We lock in I'm Mad as Hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Okay.
We unlock I'll Be Back, and we swap in Spider-Man. Because I'll Be Back went on there as kind of a foregone conclusion. We're all just like, it should go on the list, but are any of us really passionate about it? Nathan, are you really passionate about did I'll Be Back impact your life in a meaningful way? Did it teach you to respect others and the purpose of responsibility in terms of power?
I know you have great passion for this subject. I would make the case, like when I hear the phrase "with great power comes great responsibility," I associate it with Spider-Man. I associate it with Spider-Man the character and Spider-Man the world and Spider-Man the comics, and like it's a thing that I know to be from Spider-Man. But when you talk about like the most famous movie quotes of all time, when you put it up against "I'll Be Back," I just don't see those two things being equal. You know?
That's fair. Yeah, no, I'm going more off of feeling than a if we're going for it, we just want to pick the 5 most famous quotes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take off Bigger Boat before I'd take off "I'll Be Back."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
wow!
I could
because you're going to need a bigger boat. Is interesting. Okay.
Now you could also say that what Annie was saying about like the breadth of the films we want on this list. You put Star Wars and Spider-Man on it, but you don't put like early Spielberg, then it's a different kind of list, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
True. We could always cut "No, I'm Your Father."
Yeah, it's important to me that this list reflects some taste. I feel like we have to have a wide range of film, and we already have a diversity problem on this list.
We sure do,
I think we want to be careful here.
Are any of these lines spoken by women? Just curious.
Meet Me in Montauk was, and it was immediately eliminated.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh.
Do we have any people of color represented?
This is a sad realization to come to at the end of the podcast.
Oh, man. Annie, why'd you do this to us?
Okay, wait. So
I didn't do it to you.
Oh, sure. Blame the woman.
Wait a second. No, I Am Your Father was spoken by James Earl Jones.
Okay.
Right?
So that's kind of, but the character was white, so that's not perfect.
To Infinity and Beyond is a toy.
It's a toy,
so
yeah.
Okay.
It's a white toy, but okay.
No.
Okay.
We're not doing too good here.
Okay.
All right, fine.
Boy.
Let me
Okay,
read you all my
we should
quotes
probably
from
wrap this
Moonlight.
up
I got
then.
a bunch of quotes here from... all right.
Oh, boy. Okay,
Oh,
well,
boy.
yeah, okay, Spider-Man stays off the list then, it seems. Okay.
Yeah, I will go to any length to get Spider-Man off the list, as you can see. I was...
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Not a Spider-Man fan, I see. Annie.
There's nothing wrong with Spider-Man, but I think that just in terms of iconic, you got to give it to Jaws and Terminator over that, right?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And I really love that with great power comes great responsibility. But I think I see Nathan's point where I associate that with like all of Spider-Man. Like just I think of Spider-Man as a whole, but not so much as Spider-Man 1.
Sure.
Like that movie.
Yeah. No, and last thing I would say on it would be "I'll Be Back" has become more of an Arnold quote than specifically a Terminator quote, but it is still iconic. So I'll yield. With great power comes great responsibility. Should have had more consideration. I don't know. Yeah, Spider-Man, more like Spider, not on this list. Boom, nailed it.
Wow.
Well, we'll come back to you, Angus, on this. I'll let you workshop it a little further. Okay, so what we have is No, I Am Your Father, To Infinity and Beyond. We have You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat, I'll Be Back, and I'm Mad as Hell, and I'm Not Gonna Take This Anymore. So that's 5. We need to rank this list now.
Oh, boy.
From 5 to 1. Here we go.
It was hard enough getting to this point. We have to talk more about this shit?
All right, so we have a list of 5. We'll start with number 5. What do you think number 5 should be?
I mean, based on I don't know.
Yeah, based on our conversation and what it took to fight for it to be on the list, well, what do you think, Annie? This is like your favorite movie of all time. I'm Mad as Hell, and I'm Not going to take this anymore. That to me is my 5, but I totally see that it's might be bigger than these other things.
Yeah, to me, my 5 is You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat.
Yeah, those are the 2 for me that
Okay.
are vacillating.
Really,
Either
I would
one's
say
fine.
no. I'd say Infinity and Beyond is 5.
Okay.
Really?
I would put it a little higher, personally.
Yeah. Well,
just
no,
a
I know
little bit.
personally for sure. Yeah.
But I can see You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat also at 5 or 4. So it sounds like that is like those 3 are like could be 5 and 4, right? I'm Mad as Hell, To Infinity, You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like those are all like no one is fighting for those as 1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to Need a Bigger Boat is the one that I would put higher.
You would put that higher?
Oh, yeah, much higher.
Okay.
I mean, I'd put it higher than I'll Be Back. Even
And
though
I would
like
put To
Terminator more
Infinity
as a
and
movie.
Beyond over I'll Be Back. For me, that's my own personal thing. So it'd be I'm Mad as Hell, but I'd be curious to hear, like, Annie, how high do you want this thing to go?
I mean, I would put that at 3 or 4 at least. I just feel like You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat and I'll Be Back. I don't know. It's we are getting into like a lot of these are very similar to me in terms of like the level that they're at. So it is tricky. It is tricky, but for me, I think You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat is 5.
I could do that. You're going to need a bigger boat at 5. Nathan, Angus, what do you think about 5 for that?
Yeah, I would say too low, but whatever. Like if the group consensus is that it's 5, then so be it, right?
Whatever you guys think. I just made my 5 in my head. Like my 5 in my head is I'll Be Back, I Am Your Father, Infinity and Beyond, Need a Bigger Boat, and Mad as Hell. That's like...
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Is that from 5 to 1 or is
5.
that 1 to
1 to 5?
Like I think it's I'll Be Back and I'm Your Father are kind of number 1, 2, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I think Infinity and Bigger Boat are like 3, 4, and then Mad as Hell is last. That's me personally.
I can get behind that, actually.
Yeah, I think I have a similar type of list in my head as well. So I think I'm okay as I'm Mad as Hell at 5 as well, if that's what everyone else is thinking here. I know it's not what you're thinking, Annie.
It's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I don't agree with any of what you said, but but yeah, sure. Put it at 5.
Okay. I'll put it tentatively at 5 and we'll see. The show breaks friendships, as you can see. Number 4. So we were thinking with your kind of pseudo list, Nathan, what was your 4 and 3? We can kind of work that as a blueprint.
I mean, mine was like the Bigger Boat and Infinity and Beyond were kind of in that realm for me. Because I felt like I Am Your Father and I'll Be Back felt like the top 2 to me, and whichever
ones?
order you want.
Yeah, I would put Bigger Boat at 4 and Infinity Beyond at 3, personally.
Yeah, that's where I would be too. Angus, do you have any qualms about that one?
Oh, a great many, but we've been going for so long already.
Okay.
I would have.
see.
The last thing I would say, I would have put I'm Mad as Hell at 4 and To Infinity Beyond at 5.
Okay.
But
does anyone else feel the same?
No.
No,
Yeah,
I think Infinity Beyond is 3 for me, for sure.
Yeah, then 3 sounds good.
Okay. And number 2 and 1, I think this is the big fight, right? No, I'm Your Father and I'll Be Back.
Yeah.
I have no fight as long as those are the top 2. I don't care which one it's in.
Yeah. I like how all of us have fought so hard to get to this point, and now when we're ranking, we're like, I don't care. Let's just...
Well, I think that's indicative of like they're all, on
all good,
roughly the same level. And so, the actual ranking is not as important as the fact that they're on the list, But with that being said, I feel strongly that I'll Be Back should be number 1. I think I'm Your Father is the one I know more and the one I've seen more and the one I probably like more. But I think just in terms of just cultural ubiquity, I'll Be Back. It's got to be my number 1.
That's a good point. Angus, how do you feel about those two? You love Terminator. I love Star Wars.
I love it. I'll Be Back. I don't like. So here's the thing. Once again, I think I approached the whole list from maybe the wrong mindset. If we're strictly just going for what is the most famous movie quote and not what's a better movie quote, then yeah, I'll Be Back. And I'll Be Back. Certainly, I've heard it more times in my life than No, I Am Your Father. Right. So I would give that a slight edge, I suppose. I also like the movie slightly better. I'd rather watch Terminator than Empire Strikes Back.
Oof. Okay. All right.
Are you trying to start new fights at the end of this?
My thing is we're not.
Empire Strikes Back is a downer. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Annie?
I was just gonna say, if the task was to find the best film writing, I think we would have a different list,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'd have Die Hard in this goddamn list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we'd have the entirety of Die Hard. Yeah, but we're not doing tight screenplays. We're doing single lines of dialogue.
Yes.
I guess I would say, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of I'm trying to play back the delivery of those lines in my head in those moments in those movies, and it's they're both pretty on par with each other.
The moment,
I guess the
moment for No, I Am Your Father is a bigger moment, certainly. The immediate follow up is no, that's impossible. That's my Mark Hamill.
Right. So is that
does that factor in at all? That's what I thought about a lot. I thought about the moment surrounding the line of dialogue, not just the line of dialogue itself. I'll Be Back. Newsflash, you guys didn't know the moment surrounding it. And also, the moment surrounding it, I would say, is not as good as the line. So the line itself has lived on. So I don't know. One is a stronger scene, perhaps, and one's a stronger line of dialogue, I think.
what we're really arguing about is plot versus character, because it's I'll be back as a character moment, and I'm your father is a plot moment.
Absolutely. And one is like an earth-shattering, I mean, for a lot of people, because you're just like, oh, I didn't even know that could happen. Like, it surprised me when I was a kid. It's like, oh, that's crazy. So, I don't know. And I still see videos all the time of, like, people posting on Reddit. They're like, I showed my kid Empire Strikes Back. And it's just a kid's reaction. So, maybe I want to give the edge to I Am Your Father.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, if the no that Luke says right after "No, I'm your father" is like the the realization of it.
Exactly. So if I think of Empire Strikes Back, I think of that moment. If I think of Terminator, I think of many other moments before I'll be back. I don't know if that factors in at all.
I think I'm with you, Angus. I would give the slight edge to "No, I'm your father" because I like that moment, I guess, but it's really tough for me to think. I'm not sure. I'm
in
pretty
the interest
stuck on
of
this.
locking something in, I'll go with that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, great.
I mean, they're both literally. I just think, again, I keep saying it, like, everything is on a similar level. So, like, the actual what's number one and number two, I think, is a little less important.
Okay, we freaking did it then. I hope everyone's happy by the end of this. We'll see.
No way, we got another bottled water.
Well, either one of those two would have been
exactly.
that, right? So, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. From Network is number 5. Number 4, You're going to Need a Bigger Boat from Jaws. Number 3, To Infinity and Beyond from Toy Story. I'll Be Back from Terminator, and No, I am your father. Expertly delivered by me. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Thank you. Hold your applause, everyone. Jeez, please. All right, so we made it to honorable mentions. What a list! Too. I can't believe that was a tough ranking. I have to say, one of our hardest ones in a long time. But now we're in honorable mentions, where we just get to rapid fire the rest of our list that wasn't said already. So I'm going to give it to Annie, and if you just want to just rapid fire all of the rest of your lines, go for it, please.
Okay, so we have You Talking to Me from Taxi Driver. We have Where We're Going, We Don't Need Roads from Back to the Future. I agonized over that. There is Here's Looking at You, Kid, which I thought was too basic to put on there. Shaken Not Stirred from James Bond. I thought that was a good one. I also had I'm losing it. We had so this, I didn't even realize what movie this was from, but I'm Walking Here is originally from Midnight Cowboy, and Dustin Hoffman says it. I don't think most people know what that's from, so I didn't feel like I could include it on my list. But
they just say it every time they're in New York.
Yeah, exactly. But those and also I would be remiss if I didn't include, I want to make sure I get this right. Go to somebody else, and I'll give you my last one.
Okay. Nathan, give me your entire list. Go ahead.
I'm going to try to perform this entire list. Are you ready?
Please,
It's a little long, and I'm going to go really fast. Okay, here we go. Bond, James Bond, from almost every Bond movie. I See Dead People from Sixth Sense. Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown from Chinatown. Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore from Wizard of Oz. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get from Forrest Gump. I'll have what she's having from When Harry Met Sally. Here's Johnny from The Shining. I'm the king of the world from Titanic. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? From Dirty Harry. Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. From The Graduate. Are you talking to me? From Taxi Driver. Here's Looking at You, Kid. From Casablanca. Show me the money. From Jerry Maguire. Take your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. From Planet of the Apes. And Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. From Every Die Hard.
Yes. Oh, and the one that I wanted to make sure that I got right, because it's so important, is I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Yes.
Oh,
You
so
took
good.
it. That was my gag one at the end.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it. Angus, can you? Since Nathan was able to perform his entire list, we want the same from you, of course.
From The Big Lebowski, that rug really tied the room together.
I'm shocked that no one,
incredible.
the Big
A
Lebowski
podcast
has not
with
come
3
up
dudes
yet.
and we don't say that?
I am shocked.
I know.
Well, so the other one that I stressed over more with the airplane one is also from the Big Lebowski. It's "You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole," which I think is just very prevalent, and it stuck with me quite a bit. Anchorman, I'm in a glass case of emotion. No, I don't know if I should. Borat, my wife.
That was actually almost on my list as well.
My wife.
I honestly wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if this would be appropriate. That was the one where I was more worried about like bothering people. Okay, so Jaws. Brody asks his son for a kiss on the cheek. His son asks him why, and he says, "Because I need it." And I don't know why that always hit me a lot harder. From Terminator, "Come with me if you want to live." Ultimately, I would.
Oh, right.
And then also from Terminator, "It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead."
Wow.
Great delivery. Angus.
From The Matrix, "Trinity, help!" That's the line of
Your Matrix line?
absolutely. That is the line of dialogue behind one of the the single most iconic visual moments in like movies in the last 20 years.
You really care about the context of each of these quotes, don't you?
I do, maybe too much. Yeah. It's just a flesh wound from Holy Grail.
Good one.
I only picked one from Lord of the Rings, and it's "They're taking the hobbits to Isengard," which is a gag one.
Because a meme?
Yeah, it's a meme. And also Star Wars, the single Star Wars line that I said the most growing up was, "From my point of view, the Jedi are evil." But mostly because it's a terrible piece of dialogue, and I love making fun of that movie. That's all of mine.
I hate you. I hate you. That's great.
Well
that's
done.
great. Wow, you guys took most of mine here. I also had my wife, but I won't do it in that. That's actually my entire list, it looks like. No. I mean, I'm going to make him an offer you can't refuse. Godfather, Bond, James Bond, Say Hello to My Little Friend. These are like all classics. I always liked I Am Iron Man from a little, Marvel kind of thing. Why So Serious from The Dark Knight. Ogres are like onions. It's like, if just all for you Shrek fans out there, I know it's all of you basically. Hey, I just want to take another look at you, which is from that Star is Born with Bradley Cooper. I just love that line and how he delivers it. I am Groot. Really
Speaking
good.
of a line they repeat a billion times for effect. Right?
Yep. Very effective, and that's why We Are Groot is so effective as well.
Yeah, why not use that? Anyway.
What is this, a center for ants? From Zoolander. Look at me, I am the captain now, from Captain Phillips. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I thought that was one that you were going to say, Angus. Truly.
I was going to, but I didn't think anyone would take it seriously.
I would have, or I don't
movies.
have friends. I don't have friends, I got family. I think that's always good. And you shall not pass. Lord of the Rings. So those are mine. And we freaking did it. That's all of our quotes for today. So many different movie lines and lots of recommendations for you folks at home to, check out some great movies. I hear Network is good. Little birdie told me that. And I also hear Eternal Sunshine in the Spotless Mind is one that you should probably check out if you just went through a breakup.
Just make sure you're in a good space for it. But yeah, watch those two movies. I'm sure many of your listeners have seen
I'll tell you
them,
something.
but-
The idea of erasing my own memory right now is looking more and more appealing.
Yes. Who wouldn't want that? Imagine if you could erase 2020.
Yeah, amazing.
Who would not do that? I think actually they should just put that in the water supply. I think we should just do that.
Yeah, that'd be good. So that's your superpower is, if you had to choose a superpower, it's the ability to erase your own memory, but not anybody else's.
Ooh.
Okay.
I would rather erase other people's memory of things that I have said and done.
Yeah.
That would be.
Ooh. All right, we did it. We are at the end of the show, but before we let you all off the hook here, of course, we got to thank our guests, Angus, Boromir. Hello.
Hey, you know what? I think I filled the role of Boromir perfectly on this episode. You were absolutely right.
Yeah.
Killed
No, you did a great.
killed off
it's
fairly
great.
early, and it was just more
there in spirit by the end.
But you went out swinging.
I certainly did.
So,
if you like listening to me ramble on about stuff, check out another podcast on the Pod Cavern called Heroes Don't Do Paperwork. It's like an improvised interview show where I talk to people with superpowers and fictional world, and it's fun and silly, and check it out.
Amazing. Nathan, thank you for being on the show here today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love this stuff. It was so fun to argue with all of you.
Yeah, I'm glad we wore you all down by the end of it. But you know what? We made a freaking amazing list that we should be proud of, I think, today. So happy to have you. Happy to have you both back. You and Annie. Of course, Angus, of course. You're always welcome here. But anytime you want to rank some stuff, we are always here with open arms for embracing you. Now, if you want to give the people at home some plugs and where to find you.
Yeah, Annie and I have a podcast together, which we just started, which we where we are watching every episode of the original show MacGyver from the 80s and similarly ripping it apart and ranking it and that sort of thing. It's called Duct Tape and Paperclips, and you can find it wherever you get podcasts.
That sounds awesome.
Amazing. That's really awesome. Annie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I am very excited to have ranked some things with you today.
I hope you come back and rank some more things. And do you have any more room quotes in the room that you're in,
I
by the way?
don't have any more room quotes, but I do, if I can plug something really quick, I do have a Succession print also up at my desk because I have another podcast where I recap and sort of review every episode of HBO's Succession. So if people are fans of that show, please check it out. The podcast is called We Here For You. And right now we're actually in the midst of doing a bracket to determine the worst human being on the show. And so that's something you can vote on social media. So do that at Succession Pod is the handle.
Amazing. A ranking, if you will. Both of you have two other type of ranking shows.
We're obsessed with figuring out how good something is.
Yeah, and also just like this is one of the things that's really fun about having a little bit of time in this quarantine lockdown situation, trying to make the best of it. Like I have more time to watch movies and television than I ever have. Yeah. And so it is just sort of a fun way to be able to see things I haven't seen before, and also spend some time with friends ranking and arguing about stuff, which is a lot of fun.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I totally agree. For myself, you can find the rest of the shows in the Pod Cavern at www.podcavern.com. Angus mentioned Heroes Don't Do Paperwork. We have the Improv, Punch Up, Talking Tongue, Disney Dummies, and more. So come check it out. Come join the love in the Pod Cavern and check out other shows. Check out these other two shows that we got that Annie and Nathan mentioned as well. Support other artists, support other podcasts. And that's it for us today. We're going to close out the show where all of us are going to say our favorite movie line of all time at the exact same time. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I was trying to do Chewbacca. It didn't work. Bye, everyone.
Bye.